Imagine this. You're standing in front of a woman who seems completely out of your league. She's confident, stunning, and used to men bending over backward for her. Yet somehow, she looks at you differently. Not as just another guy trying to impress her, but as someone she can't quite figure out, someone she wants. What if I told you that women, no matter how confident or independent they seem, have psychological weak spots, flaws in their emotional armor that most men never notice? And if you understand these weaknesses, you won't just attract women. You'll control the dynamic without even trying. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding what actually moves women on a subconscious level. Because attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. Most men appeal to the surface level, trying to impress with words, money, or looks. But the men who truly command a woman's attention, they tap into the forces she can't resist. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And when you understand these weaknesses, you are not reacting to her moods or her tests. You are observing, understanding, and responding with calm control. And that control is what makes you irresistible. You don't need to shout. You don't need to force anything. You simply need to be the man who knows his value and refuses to give it away for free. That is the man she will respect. That is the man she will honor. That is the man she will bow to. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through self-respect, discipline, and unwavering presence. Before we get into these weaknesses, let me make something crystal clear. This is not about manipulating women. It's about understanding human nature. There's a difference. Manipulation is controlling someone against their will. Understanding is knowing what drives people so you can connect with them on a deeper level. And when you understand female psychology, you stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop wondering why she lost interest. You become the man she chases. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you cultivate thoughts of self-respect, purpose, and understanding, your soul reflects that, and she will see it. She will feel it, and she will be drawn to it, because in a world of men who are chasing, a man who is centered in himself is a rare and precious thing. Now, let's get into the first hidden weakness that gives you an unfair advantage over 99% of men. Weakness 1. The craving for emotional escapism. Most men assume that women are logical in love, that they choose partners based on stability, looks, or even status. But the truth is, women fall for the experience a man gives them, not just the man himself. Women crave a man who pulls them into a different emotional reality. Why do you think they fantasize about bad boys, mysterious strangers, or forbidden love stories? It's not because they want trouble. It's because they're addicted to feeling something unpredictable, something different from the routine of their lives. And here's where most guys fail. They're too predictable. They text her the same way every day. They agree with everything she says. They make her feel comfortable but not alive. And that's exactly why so many men get stuck in the friend zone. They provide companionship, but they don't trigger emotions powerful enough to make her see them as anything more. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And when you learn to create emotional contrast, you are not reacting to her. You are creating a reaction in her, and that is a different kind of power. It is the power of the man who understands that attraction is not about what you say, but about how you make her feel. So how do you take advantage of this? You have to create an emotional contrast. Women don't fall for the guy who's just nice. They fall for the man who makes them feel something. Start by mixing unpredictability into your interactions. Don't always be available. Challenge her opinions instead of agreeing with everything. Tell stories that pull her into a different world. The key is not to be just another predictable option. The moment a woman sees you as an experience rather than just a man, she won't just be interested. She'll be hooked. Think about the men who have had the most impact on your life. Were they the ones who were always predictable, always safe, always easy to categorize? Or were they the ones who kept you guessing, who challenged you, who made you feel something you hadn't felt before? The answer is almost always the latter. Predictability is comfortable, but it is not exciting. And excitement is what fuels attraction. When you are unpredictable in a controlled way, when you keep her guessing without being chaotic, you become someone she wants to figure out. And that wanting to figure you out is the beginning of obsession. And speaking of hooks, let's move on to another weakness most women will never admit. Weakness 2, the unspoken addiction to strong boundaries. There's a reason why the men women chase the hardest are never the ones who chase first. It's because women aren't wired to respect men who give themselves away too easily. Most guys think being agreeable, available, and always accommodating will make a woman like them more. In reality, it does the opposite. It makes her take you for granted. Women are naturally drawn to men who set the tone in the relationship. They want a man who isn't afraid to say no, a man who values his own time, his own mission, and his own self-respect. Because that kind of man is rare. Think about it. A woman will never admit she wants a challenge. But look at who she spends time with. It's never the guy who makes himself too available. It's the one she feels she has to work for. And here's the secret. Women test men all the time, whether they realize it or not. They'll cancel plans just to see if you'll chase. They'll push your buttons to see if you'll crack. They'll try to dominate the conversation just to see if you'll back down. But the moment she realizes that you stand firm in your values, that you won't bend just to please her, she stops testing and starts respecting you. And respect, that's the foundation of real attraction. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you have strong boundaries, you are not anxiously dependent on her approval. You are grounded in yourself, and that grounding is what makes her respect you. So if you ever feel like a woman is losing interest, ask yourself, are you holding your ground or are you just trying to keep her happy? Women don't fall for men who give them everything. They fall for men who make them earn it. And once you understand this, the entire game of attraction changes. Let me give you a real example of how this plays out. There was a man named Michael, age 47. He had been dating a woman for 3 months. Everything was going well, but she started to pull away. She would cancel plans at the last minute. She would take hours to reply to his messages. Michael was confused. He had been a great boyfriend. He was attentive, caring, always available. He thought that showing up consistently would make her feel secure. Instead, she was pulling away. So, Michael made a change. He stopped being so available. He stopped chasing. He started focusing on his own life, his own goals, his own friends. He didn't ignore her, but he stopped making her the center of his world. Within 2 weeks, she reached out. She wanted to see him. She wanted to talk. She had felt the shift. She had realized that Michael was a man with options, a man who could walk away, a man who was not guaranteed. And that realization triggered something in her. She started investing more effort, not because Michael asked, but because she didn't want to lose him. This is the power of strong boundaries. When you stop being so easily available, you become more valuable in her eyes. She begins to see you as a man who is chosen by the world, not a man who is desperate for her attention. Now, let's talk about another weakness that keeps women chasing even when they don't realize it. Weakness 3, the thrill of uncertainty. Think about the last time you were hooked on a TV show, a movie, or even a book. What kept you glued to the screen? It wasn't the predictable parts. It was the tension, the mystery, the feeling of not knowing what happens next. Now, here's what most men don't realize. Women experience attraction the same way. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to categorize. And once she knows she has you, the chase is over. But if you remain just out of reach, if she can't quite put a label on what you feel for her, that's when her mind starts obsessing over you. Women love a man who can create uncertainty in a controlled way. They don't want complete chaos, but they do want a man who keeps them on their toes. And this is exactly why so many women fall for men who aren't overly eager to please. Ask yourself this. Do you instantly reply to her messages? Do you always tell her how much you like her without letting the tension build? Do you give away all your emotions up front, leaving nothing for her to wonder about? If the answer is yes to any of those, then chances are you're making things too easy for her. Now, this doesn't mean you should play childish mind games or act distant for no reason, but it does mean you should leave space for mystery. Instead of texting back immediately, wait a little. Instead of telling her exactly how you feel right away, let her wonder. Instead of always being available, make her work for your time. This doesn't make you a bad guy. It makes you valuable. Women crave excitement, adventure, and men who don't give themselves away like a cheap prize. The moment she's unsure about where she stands with you, she starts thinking about you nonstop. She starts chasing. And that's when the tables turn. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." When you create uncertainty, you are exercising that power. You are not letting her moods or her expectations dictate your actions. You are grounded in yourself, and that grounding is what makes her want to know more about you. Weakness 4, the magnetic pull of leadership. Most guys think that being nice or agreeable will win a woman's heart. But women don't dream about following a man who follows them. They dream about a man who leads. You see this everywhere. The most desired men in history, whether in movies, business, or even real life, are the ones who move with purpose. They don't ask for permission to exist. They make their own decisions, stand by them, and expect others to either follow or get left behind. Women are naturally drawn to this. They might not always admit it, but a man who knows what he wants and doesn't hesitate to go after it is irresistible. Think about it. Have you ever seen a woman fall head over heels for a guy who constantly asks, "What do you want to do?" instead of deciding for himself? Have you noticed how the men who get respected by both men and women are the ones who don't hesitate when it's time to act? Have you ever heard a woman say, "I just love a guy who lets me make all the decisions"? No, exactly. Now, this doesn't mean you should control or dominate a woman's life, but it does mean you should be decisive. Don't ask, "Where do you want to eat?" Instead, say, "We're going here." You'll love it. Don't wait for her to make a move. Take the lead. Don't be afraid to disagree with her. If she respects you, she'll appreciate that you have your own mind. Weak men follow, strong men lead, and women can feel the difference. The moment she realizes you have a direction in life with or without her, she won't just be interested. She'll be drawn to you in ways she won't even understand. And once she starts looking up to you, that's when you become the kind of man she never wants to lose. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly, and leadership is not something you were born with. It is something you develop over time through practice, through making decisions, through standing by your choices. And as you develop that leadership, it becomes part of your presence. And that presence is what she will be drawn to." Weakness 5, the desire for a man who doesn't need her. Here's the biggest secret of all. Women don't want to be the center of your world. They want to be invited into a world that's already exciting. Most men get this completely wrong. They make a woman their priority too soon. They drop their goals, abandon their ambitions, and start structuring their lives around her. And do you know what happens next? She loses interest. Not because she's cruel, not because she wants to hurt you, but because the moment a woman feels that she's the only thing driving your happiness, she stops respecting you. Think about it. Why do women obsess over celebrities, athletes, and high achievers? Why do they get hooked on men who seem like they have bigger things going on than just a relationship? Why do women chase the man who isn't always available instead of the guy who's always there? It's simple. They want a man who has purpose. A woman wants to feel like she's part of something bigger, not like she is the something bigger. When you have a vision, a goal, a life that excites you with or without her, you become instantly attractive. But the moment you start revolving your world around her, you become replaceable. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And one of the greatest wastes is the time we spend making someone else the center of our world. When you make her your everything, you are wasting your purpose. You are wasting your ambition. You are wasting your life." And she can feel that. She can sense that you have abandoned yourself for her, and that is not attractive. It is repulsive. So here's how to make sure this never happens. Keep your mission at the center of your life. Women are attracted to men who are going somewhere. Never cancel your plans just to be available. She respects a man who stands firm in his priorities. Stay unpredictable. Your time is valuable. Make her earn it. The moment a woman sees that you're fulfilled, focused, and thriving on your own, she won't just be attracted to you. She'll feel lucky to be part of your world. Because deep down, every woman wants a man worth chasing. And if you understand these weaknesses, you'll never chase again. She'll chase you. Think about the men who have had the most profound impact on your life. Were they the ones who were desperate for your approval? Or were they the ones who were complete in themselves? The answer is almost always the latter. The man who does not need her approval is the man who commands her respect. And respect is the foundation of desire. Women do not want to be someone's whole world. They want to be part of a world that is already rich, full, and meaningful. They want to be invited into something that already exists, not asked to build it from scratch. When you have a mission, a purpose, a life that is already fulfilling, you become magnetic. You become someone she wants to be part of, not someone she feels obligated to fix. Now, let me give you the practical application of all of this. Because understanding the theory is one thing, but knowing how to apply it in real life is what transforms your relationships. First, cultivate emotional contrast. Stop being predictable. Mix up your interactions. Challenge her. Surprise her. Make her feel something she doesn't feel with other men. Second, establish strong boundaries. Know what you will and won't tolerate. Don't be afraid to say no. Value your time and your mission. Third, create controlled uncertainty. Don't reveal everything all at once. Leave space for her to wonder. Let her chase a little. Fourth, lead with decisiveness. Take the initiative. Make plans. Don't wait for permission. Show her that you have direction. Fifth, keep your mission at the center of your life. Never abandon your purpose for a woman. Let her be a part of your world, not the center of it. And finally, understand that these weaknesses are not about manipulation. They are about understanding human nature. They are about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts women because he is grounded, confident, and self-contained. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus also taught, "No great thing is created suddenly." This applies to becoming the man you want to be as well. It does not happen overnight. It happens through the accumulation of small choices, each one building on the last. And as you make those choices, you become more grounded, more present, more capable of creating the kind of attraction that lasts. So here's what I want you to take away from this. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You are operating without information. Every man who struggles with women isn't lacking something. He's missing a map. And now you have one. The signals, the triggers, the invisible language she's speaking when she wants you to step forward. Masculine presence, emotional contrast, strong boundaries, controlled uncertainty, decisive leadership, a mission that centers you. These are not tricks. These are not manipulations. They are the real mechanics of how human attraction works at a deep psychological level. Use them honestly. Use them with respect. Use them as a man who genuinely cares about the woman in front of him. Not as someone trying to manufacture a result, but as someone who is showing up as his fullest self. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. You don't need perfection. You need strategy. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become more of who you already are, but with clarity, with intention, and with the quiet confidence of a man who finally understands the game he's playing. The man who understands this doesn't chase, he becomes. And the right woman will feel that from across the room. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you cultivate thoughts of purpose, growth, and self-respect, your soul reflects that, and she will see it. She will feel it, and she will be drawn to it. Because in a world of men who are chasing, a man who is centered in himself is a rare and precious thing. Be that man. Build that life and watch how everything changes. If you found this video valuable, subscribe to the channel for more deep insights into psychology, attraction, and mastering the mind. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video because trust me, the next one might change everything for you. Stay sharp, stay focused, and remember, the strongest man is the one who doesn't need to prove a thing. See you in the next one.